Today, this would be a case of, let's see, take two, take three, take four, take five.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Are we? How interesting.
I see you.
Right.
Yep, you're good.
On the National Real Estate Post?
Yep.
Interesting, because I'm not even showing up on the National Real Estate Post. How we doing, guys? Anyone out there catching this? We're setting up a new Streamlabs and a new protocol over here. Ah, there we go. I got some folks on here, I can tell. That's good to see. How are we doing? Hope we're having a good day today. Again, this is going to get a lot more smooth as we go forward with the coming days. We got new protocols to bring you great new lives with great content for mortgage loan officers and real estate agents on a daily basis. And all right, thanks, guys. Oh, Doug, there we go. Chris Burleson, nice to see you, buddy. What's up, Yvonne? How's it going, Doug? Nice to see you guys. Totally appreciate this. One of the problems with going live every day, the content is the easy part since we're writing and researching shows every day. The difficulty comes in when you're trying to actually produce a show. So that's what we're working on right now, is taking our team and using our day so we can actually produce better quality Facebook Live and a podcast and YouTube Live for everybody on a daily basis. So today we're just stepping into our new protocols. We're making this kind of an easy one, kind of a layup, but I think it's pretty cool stuff. So we're going to share it with you today. So let me explain to you the maturation of this. And you loan officers, especially those who've been around for a little while, will totally appreciate this. I got an email today from Dave Stevens. And he said, hey, just thought this was interesting and wanted to share it with you. And what it was his top 10 list of what he had to do and remind himself of to focus himself as a mortgage loan officer on a daily basis. But this was his list from back in the 1980s, in the early 1980s. So before I get going on this list of 10 things that loan officers need to do from the 1980s, I want to just, if you're not familiar with who Dave Stevens is, let me give you a little bit of his background. Okay, so Dave Stevens was the Executive Vice President of Wholesale Lending at Wells Fargo Home Mortgage, the Senior Vice President of Single Family Lending over at Freddie Mac. That's a big one. The President and Chief Operating Officer at Long & Foster Real Estate, the COO over there. The Assistant Secretary of Housing and Federal Housing Commissioner for HUD. The President of the FHA. That's a big one. The President of the Mortgage Bankers Association. Was ranked as the most influential person in the mortgage industry. You get the point. This guy's got a resume unlike anybody else. You could make an argument that he has been, over the past 4 decades, the most influential person in all of mortgage lending over the past 30, 40 years. And I'll tell you, doing an interview with him that you guys have probably seen in the past is probably, certainly one of the most well-informed, articulate, complicated thinking individuals you'll ever find. Now, for those of you who are younger, I want you to consider this. This is a list from the 1980s, the top 10 things for loan officers to do. So I was thinking about this today. Okay, so back in the 1980s, there was no such thing as an internet. Now, maybe the military had a version, but for all of us, the internet didn't exist at all whatsoever. As a loan officer, you had to write your GFEs by hand, period. You had to write them out by hand. And that included calculating your APR. You had to do that whole thing all on your own. You would have these tablets, these actual paper tablets that you would use to calculate your title insurance. I remember that stuff. And credit reports, there was no such thing as credit reports. They didn't exist. All underwriting was done manually. Your files actually had to be sent to underwriters. Was it called Transbox? We used Transbox up here. So you would actually have couriers, at least when I was brokering back then, you'd have couriers who would take these to where the underwriters would literally manually underwrite your files. The idea of a multiple listing system for real estate agents was in its infancy, really did not exist, not in the way we see it now. Cell phones, not a chance. By the way, pagers, not a chance. The best form of communication for somebody who was in sales, the best form of technology that we had at the time was call waiting on your phone, where you would basically click the hang up. We had call waiting And we had answering machines, actual answering machines. That's the truth. So the world was not recognizable back in 1980. Now, for people like me, it seems like 1980 was just yesterday, but I'm definitely aging myself. So we have the top 10 list of possibly the most, to focus yourself as a loan officer, from maybe the most influential person in mortgage lending over the past 40 years, in a world that I hope you understand is unrecognizable to today. And here's part of like what we're talking about. By the way, do you see those green lines? Okay, good. That's Dave Stevens. And again, we've done interviews with him, and I'm sure we'll be doing interviews with him again going forward. Super good guy, totally insightful. Okay, so let's go through the top 10 list and let's see if it's relevant to today. So his top 10 was role playing, and not like that role playing. Whatever floats your boat, but not for this. So now listen to this. This is a verbatim. This is a screenshot of each one of these. So in a world where pricing is going to get tougher, sound familiar? A place where you likely won't win. Sound familiar? When you're going out there, this is kind of a. I was in the 7th grade. There we go. I got you, Ken. At a place where you likely won't win. And how many loan officers do we see today who are out there trying to win their loans on pricing and pricing alone? So here we are with the same thing that we're dealing with right now, pricing going up and saying you're not going to win. So the whole idea back then was role play. Go to your peers, other loan officers, people in your office, and play with your peers on selling the overall advantages of your company and working with you. So it really does work. If you've ever sat down in a situation and somebody asks you a question, you're like, well, I don't have an answer for that. Well, you're right, Bob. They're a quarter better. And screw it. Go with them. When you start to create objections and you actually role play and you verbally, you voice out the answers or the solutions to the problems that are being presented to you, it's going to put you in a position to win more deals. It will work. If you'll do it is another question, but it will work. And keep in mind, these are the habits of maybe the most successful person in the mortgages over the past 40 years. Okay, number 9. This is all just so rudimentary and so true. 5 new contacts each day. So when you sit down, you don't leave that office until you've got 5 new contacts each day. Doesn't mean you need a closed deal. It means you need to go out there and contact 5 new people. That means you're going to need to get creative with your time, right? Well, how do we do that? Well, here's one of the ways. Rule number 8, be selfish with your time. Don't allow time-wasting activities during your business day. Files and internal meetings should be dealt with early in the morning. Totally agree with that. And the other one that I've always heard is if you have a hard call to make that hard call first thing in the morning. Get it out of the way. But files and internal meetings should be dealt with early in the morning, and the bulk of your days should be blocked for building new business and following up on progressive relationship building activities. The office can be the excuse. Avoid the excuse to avoid confrontation and rejection that comes from making sales calls. Now, again, if you have to make 5 new contacts every day, be selfish with your time. Don't allow time-wasting activities to get involved. What are time-wasting activities? It could be other people in your office. Now, I know that we're not necessarily sitting in a brick-and-mortar building as we have in the past, but that doesn't mean we're not Skyping. If we're working from home, are we actually working? Are we watching TV? Are we perusing the internet to find the latest and greatest God knows what? There's so many things that we can do to waste our time. I remember my first or second year doing mortgages. I just remember trying to figure out like what the hell I was doing. And I remember playing Minesweep on my old PC. Remember Minesweep? I got to the point where I could beat all of Minesweep and I could beat all of Free Cell Solitaire. And that's not a good thing. If you get good at shit like that, that means you're not doing your job. So be selfish with your time. Don't let other people or other activities waste your time. Between the bookends of your day, make sure you're kicking ass. That'll help you get your 5. All of these things work together. Always follow up in writing. I thought this was actually kind of an interesting one here. Every meeting or call deserves a note, and I still believe a handwritten note is better. Now that is right from the 1980s, isn't it? A handwritten note. How many people actually get a handwritten note? Now, I don't think you need to do that. You can send a text. I mean, that makes it even easier, doesn't it? Send a text follow-up. Hey, appreciate the call with you. Hey, appreciate your time. Hey, appreciate that. I'll make sure I'll follow up. You can always send an email, or you can do a handwritten note if you happen to have that person's address. Getting shit in the mail is actually kind of cool right now because we just don't use that as a means of communication anymore. So it's kind of like getting a present. So if you have the time to do a handwritten note and or you know that person's address, send it out because they won't get it right away. They'll get it a couple of days later, and that will remind them about the conversation, the great conversation you had with you. Remember, these are the top 10 things to focus you to make you a much more successful loan officer. Let's go. Number 6 here. Learn how to close for time. I thought this was interesting. And this is, frankly, a completely and totally forgotten art here. And I think that I like this, but I could be a victim of my age. But winning may be simply closing the agent for some one-on-one time for you to show them the great idea, whatever that great idea is. Closing for time is a prospecting tool that says if I can sell an agent on the need to meet with me for just 15 or 20 minutes, i.e. closing for time, I'm one step closer to building and establishing a relationship with that agent. This is something that I did as a loan officer all the time. I still do it in a large capacity with some of the relationships that I have right now that I'm trying to cultivate and manicure. If you can find a way to get in front of somebody, like actually get in front of somebody and share that idea, and marketing ideas is what we do over here. I mean, we're a mile a minute with marketing ideas. In fact, I will be going up to Folsom, California tomorrow for a lunch meeting at 12:30 with a real estate office. I'm not going to give any names or information on who it is, but it's 55 real estate agents. And the broker of record wants me to go in there and train his agents on best practices with some of the strategies that we do. Now, I don't even write loans. Imagine if I wrote loans, or I had a team of people who wrote loans, and I have the undivided attention of a broker owner and 55 real estate agents with a single-minded objective of making them more successful. Now, me going up to Folsom, California, it's a 45-minute drive to an hour drive. It's going to be a hump, and it's not going to be 15 or 20 minutes. It'll probably be an hour or so. And I'm going to make sure it's a focused hour. We'll do our, this for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to get to the point. What are we trying to accomplish here? Why did I get in my car? Why did I drive up here for an hour? Well, I better have a plan of attack, right? That's the idea. I've got the idea. He's afforded me the opportunity to get in front of him, to pitch him why he should allow me to train his agents. Now, this is something anybody can do. It's all about having the right ideas, being confident with your words, being well scripted, role-playing maybe, as is in this list here, and then setting up this time to learn how to close for time. Again, great ideas from 1980, guys. From 1980. All right, get rejected. And I ain't talking about you going to the bar tonight. Oh my God. No. Getting rejected is just part of the game. It really honestly is. I wonder, Thomas, what do you think about this? Kian, what do you think? Getting rejected as a salesperson, all right?
Takes 7 no's to get to a yes.
Yeah, 7 no's to get to yes, all that stuff. Do you think guys are better at this because we basically learned how to swing and miss our entire lives? Like, that's just the game we've played?
Yeah, I can say that it definitely helps.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine, his name was Steve Heibel. I swear to God, this guy was shameless. He met a girl, and she was walking down like Broadway in Sacramento. And by the way, Broadway, it's not like Broadway in San Francisco. It's a different Broadway. It's not bad like that. And he turned his car around, and the guy had no game. And he goes over there, and he goes, "You're the most beautiful woman I've seen today, and I thought I'd ask you out and see if you'd like to go to lunch someday." And she said yes. I'm like, is it really? Has it always been that easy?
It's 100% of the shots you don't take.
I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing my entire life? Actually trying, And then Steve, he always said, when it came to dating, he's like, it's just a numbers game. And for him, dating was like, he was just fearless with rejection. I was too shy to like deal with that shit. But he was absolutely fearless. And I mean, that actually worked. But the point is this. Anyways, I'm kind of wondering if it would be easier for guys to get rejected than gals, because that's the game we play. Anyways, getting getting rejected. Go out each day with the goal of getting rejected by a real estate agent, a builder, or another referral target. The more you get rejected, the more you learn. The more you get rejected, the tougher you get. That's totally true. That's my whole point here. The more you get rejected, the closer you get to the next yes. Again, this is Sales 101. I just wonder how many people actually engage in these things. All right, again, from 1980, let's keep going. Be enthusiastic. This is the truth. Nobody wants to buy shit from a Debbie Downer. Just doesn't happen. Nobody wants to work with somebody who's having a bad day. Now, listen, we all have bad days, but do you ever go someplace and like you get like a food server, or have you ever like tried to buy a car from somebody who's just like in a shitty mood? It's not going to happen. Like you don't even want to get a cup of coffee from somebody in a bad mood. Rather, I think more importantly, have you ever gone into a place where they're always enthusiastic? Now, they're not all dropping goofballs and, and stuff like popping goofballs and happy pills and things like that. But we have two places. We have a coffee place over here that I love. I love these guys, but they're slow and half of their employees are grumpy. They're just grumpy. Excuse me, will you wait? I'm like, hi, how are you doing? Excuse me, will you wait? It's like, come on, lady. I'm coming in here with a smile on my face, and it's just, I don't know. It doesn't piss me off, but it's not like, oh, that's wonderful. Anyways, when you compare and contrast that to the other coffee place, which is, I don't know, it's probably about a 50-yard longer walk. But every day we go in there, I kid you not, every day we go in there, they're like, hi, so how's your day going? What'd you guys do this weekend? You having a great day? What do you got planned? They're always asking some silly question. And I know that they don't really care. But the thing is, when you compare and contrast that approach to the other place where you just feel like you're getting in their way when you're asking to get a cup of coffee, I don't need to be anybody's bad day. So I would rather go to the place to where I feel like you're welcomed, right? And it's a little thing. It's not even necessarily that the great sales is what you need, but when you compare it to the not the great sales, then it really starts to stand out. So in sales and in life, when you can get around people who are enthusiastic about what they do, it's contagious, isn't it? It really honestly is. Always attack the day. Love your business. Love the game of what you do. Enthusiasm is contagious. Totally agree with that. And people will flock to you. Victor Bells, out in Michigan, a loan officer. That dude is always up. He is always positive. And when I remember the first time I spoke with him, because when you talk with loan officers, you get enough loan officers around, at a watering table. You put a beer in them, and it's going to always devolve into a conversation bitching about real estate agents. It doesn't matter what city, what state, what company. It's always the same thing, and it's boring. I remember the first time I spoke with Victor, he was like super, super positive about agents. And it kind of caught me off guard because keep in mind, I've been traveling the country talking to loan officers and realtors for well over a decade now. And he really kind of stood out. And I go, so many people resent agents. I go, I'm not getting any of that from you. He goes, why the hell would I resent real estate agents? He goes, they afford me this wonderful life that I have right now. They afford me the opportunity to do traveling soccer with my daughter. He goes, hell, if I could show the houses for the real estate agents, I'd do that too. He goes, no, man, I love my referral partners. This is the greatest thing in the world. Super, super contagious. Enthusiasm. Don't underestimate these things. They may seem easy. Oh, no, by the way, and here's the thing. When you're in a good mood, you're in a good mood. That's the easy part. When you're in a bad mood, aha! Can you fake? See, right now, I'm in a shitty mood. All right. You get the idea. Okay, so let's go. Number 3. Practice sales skills daily. Good selling skills are all about effective communication. Ain't that the truth? Communication is picking up your phone. Understanding how to make your products and services matter to your prospect and be able to communicate that is a learned skill. Features, benefits, overcoming objections, asking for the business. That's a big one, or a commitment there. These are critical skills for winning a deal. I really kind of like where it says here that understanding how to make your products and services matter to your prospect to be able to communicate that is a learned featured skill. So I think one of the things that we need to do is we need to understand our products. Guys, what are our products here? Are you guys doing DSCR loans? Are you doing bank statement loans right now? Everybody can do Fannie, Freddie, Jenny. Everybody can do that. Do you guys know your bond loans in your area? Do you have any down payment assistance money that's available? Do you have any community redevelopment money? Like, do you truly understand all the products that are available? So when you sit down with a real estate agent or when you sit down with a buyer in your area, you can say, I know exactly what you need to do and I'm going to spell it out for you. And can you show those products and can you sell them with absolute confidence? And that is a skill. It really is. Here's what you don't want to do. If you have a down payment assistance type of program, something that's community, state, federally based, it doesn't matter what it is, you don't get the client into the product and learn the product. Spend your free time right now learning the product, then go find the client to fill that position. See, if you say, all right, you get a client, yeah, I heard about this program. Now we're going to do the program. Now you're learning as you're trying to close the deal. That's a recipe for disaster, especially at a time right now when we're closing approximately 2/3 of the business that we were doing just 6 months ago. This is a great opportunity for loan officers to go out there and really learn their skill, practice their sales skills daily, make sure you understand your products, and make sure that your prospects, your real estate agents, and your buyers make sure that you can convey to your real estate agent and buyers exactly how these products work and give them the confidence in you to make sure that you're the person who's going to write that loan for them. It's a different, hey, listen, batting average, it's that, what is it, You hit 2 out of 10 times, you're going to get cut. You hit 3 out of 10 times, you're going to the Hall of Fame type of thing. Kind of falls in line with the last one here. Number 2, know more. Be the expert on the products and among your competitors. Know the details of the business and always be looking for niches. Niches to bring in new business and open doors. Niches, again, this is like a DSCR bank statement. There's so many niche products coming on board online right now. Guys, going forward, non-QM is going to dominate 2022. And you're going to want to make sure that you're looking at all the great non-QM products out there. This is where you're really going to find a lot of niches and the ability to go sell them. Listen, I've said this before, I'll say it again. My friends over at Oaktree, call them up. Just go to the National Real Estate Post, get the phone number for Oaktree. I'll have that on our next Facebook Live, which will be tomorrow. But you could actually just call them up and say, hi, my name is Brian Stevens with ABC Mortgage. And I want to learn about a couple of products that you guys have that you think would help me be more successful in my business. They will show you how to sell them. They will put you in front. They will direct you towards the agents. They will give you the marketing pieces. They will give you the niches to help you where you need to be. The other thing is, and we've talked about this if you watch my lives with the National Real Estate Post with any regularity, we've talked about this quite a bit as well, is your niches could be businesses. Your niches, everybody always talks about you got to have an insurance agent, you got to have your your accountant type of thing. The one I talk about it all the time. What about these people who take care of old people? We have downstairs where you get to age in place. They're all over the place. And the gal downstairs, she's got 300 senior citizens who are cash strapped right now who would benefit from a reverse mortgage. There's a niche business in there. First responders, there's a niche business in there. I know a gal who is a real estate agent. She started working as the real estate agent of record for the Fairfield Unified School District. And she got in. She actually was, you hear people saying they're going to do this. She actually got in with a school. And so when they had their meetings, she was taking part of her commission and she was throwing it back at the deals, and she was throwing part back at the district, a portion of a portion. But what that afforded her the opportunity to do was, I think there was like 16 schools in this district. And so she would, on their lunch break, she knew when the lunch breaks were for all these different schools. She had carte blanche. She had a carte blanche invitation to go into all these different schools and sit down with her literature and talk about listing your house with her, buying a house with her. And of course, every lender in the world wanted to work with her after she figured this shit out. Well, the only thing is she's only going to work with one lender. Lenders, you could do the same thing here. There's a million different niches, not only in products, but there's niches in markets in your community that you need to look into. And again, we only get there through critical thinking. And the number one reason, according to David Stevens, the past president of the Mortgage Bankers Association, and all that other good stuff, work hard. easier said than done. You know, work hard is kind of like, you know, it's like, yeah, I want to run a marathon. I don't know if I want to put the work in. I just want to run the marathon. I don't want to put the work in. So it's easier said than done. Work hard. And that means not just putting in the hours, but make sure all your time and activities are planned for productive work. Sitting in the office, learning how to play free cell like this guy did, it's not going to get it done. Not going to get it done at all. This is the top 10 list. I will go ahead and post it in the threads in the comments down below if you'd like to get a copy of it for yourself. I thought it was pretty cool. Appreciate Dave Stevens sharing that with me. I hope this helped you. By the way, it just goes to show the more things change, the more they stay the same. All of these things 40 years ago are as relevant today as they were then. Kind of makes you wonder about like all the technology and all the things that we lean on that we have to supplant us or replace us with the hard work that we should otherwise just be doing. Let me ask you this. What would be harder for you to do? Learn a complicated new technology as part of an extension on your CRM? Or calling your past client database? Calling your past client database 10 times easier. So let's take the easy road. Let's do the old school stuff from 10 years ago. Lori Gardner totally gets it. All right, guys. Hey, listen, this was really fun. I know it was a short one today. This was really more about just understanding what the protocols and procedures are going to be like in our office so we can bring you much better produced Facebook Live videos as we're going forward. We'll be popping this onto our Mortgage Shot site so you can go back and check any one of these out as we're going forward. And we also are going to be doing some fantastic interviews. So if you would like to be interviewed or if you know anybody who would be a spectacular interview, put them in the comments over here on Facebook and we'll run those guys down. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover, send us a message over here as well. That would be cool. And with that said, we will talk with you soon.